on UCF Sports Night. This is the year we take a look at the three seniors on the men's tennis team and the different paths each of them took to lead the team in 2010. All that and more next on UCF Sports Night.
UCF Sports Night is brought to you by UCF TV.
What's up, Knight fans? Welcome to UCF Sports Night. I'm your host, Jeff Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got another big show for you this week, and we're going to take a look at the three seniors on the men's tennis team and the different paths they took to come here to UCF. But first, we start with the highlights of the week, and that means men's basketball. They were out on the road this Wednesday for a big, tough road test up in Tennessee against the Memphis Tigers. It's never an easy road trip up to Memphis, but the Knights brought their A game on this night. They were led by A.J. Tyler, who was 8 of 12 from the floor. He scored 18 points and pulled down 6 rebounds. This was a tight one, 15 ties and 15 lead changes in the game, and 4 Knights were in double figures, including Keith Clanton with 12 points, and the backcourt duo of A.J. Rompsa and Marcus Jordan combined for 20 points, 12 assists, and 4 steals. Late in the second half, Jordan drives the lane and hits this layup to give the Knights a 3-point lead. But credit to Memphis as they would retake the advantage and held on in the final moments. Final score, Memphis wins 76-70 at FedEx Forum. Elsewhere in Birmingham, the women's basketball team came up with a big road win over the UAB Blazers 80-73. Marche White racked up a career-high 26 points off the bench, along with 5 assists, as the Knights exploded for 51 points in the second half to get the win over UAB. The softball team was supposed to begin its 2010 season on Friday at the NTC Elite Invitational in Claremont, hosted by Dot Richardson. But Mother Nature had other ideas. Heavy rains forced the cancellation of the Knights' first 2 games against Oklahoma and UCLA. So the season began instead on Saturday with the Knights facing number 16 Tennessee on a frigid night in Claremont, and UCF got off to a hot start though, as Vanessa Perez triples here. She would eventually score on a sacrifice bunt to make it 1-0 early for UCF. Tennessee would take a 3-1 lead though, but the Knights would come back. They scored 1 in the 6th, and then in the 7th inning, with the bases loaded, Marissa Menendez, the freshman in her UCF debut, the base hit to right field here, scores 2 to give UCF the lead. Then the senior Hillary Barrow stepped to the plate and laces this 2 RBI single of her own. The Knights extend their lead to 6-3 over the Vols. Ashley Cole would settle down and eventually shut down the Vols and finish a complete game as UCF starts the season with a big win over the number 16 team in the country, 6-3 over Tennessee. The Knights did have 2 more games at the NTC Invitational. Later that same cold night, the Knights took on Georgia. Watch Natalie land here. The gorgeous catch going out to right field in foul ground from second base. A great highlight in a game that the Knights would rather not remember, as Georgia gets the big win. The following day, the Knights wrapped up their games at the NTC Invitational against Chattanooga, but here it was UTC who came away with the win. Hillary Barrow was 2 for 3 with 2 RBI for UCF. Up in freezing Tallahassee, the women's tennis team came up with a win over Florida A&M. In fact, the match was stopped after the clinching point was earned because of the weather. Jenna Dorfler, Katie Orletsky, and Taylor Dubins picked up the clinching singles points for the Knights. Meanwhile, their counterparts with the men's team scored a big win over their rivals from Stetson in DeLand. Mark Rocafort and Blaze Schwartz protected their doubles ranking with a victory, but UCF lost the doubles point. However, the Knights scored 5 victories in the 6 singles matches, led by Claudio Romano with a 3-set win at the number 3 position. Up in Arkansas at the Tyson Invitational, it was a great weekend for the track and field team, and the big highlight came on day 2 as the 4x400-meter relay team of Champel Brown, Jackie Coward, Asia Marie Frazier, and Sheila Paul set a new school record with a time of 3:43.48. Back to campus for another critical conference game for men's basketball. This time it was the Tulane Green Wave who came to town, and A.J. Robson would not be denied on this night. He had one of his best shooting nights of the season. 6 of 8 from the floor, 17 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Also, Isaac Sosa had a good shooting night off the bench. He was 4 of 8, 3 of 6 from beyond the three-point arc, and had 13 points. Also, Marcus Jordan had another solid night all around with 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. The Knights were down 8 points with 9 minutes to go, though, but then Ramsa led the charge as UCF went on a 13-1 run, capped off by this huge step-back 3 by A.J. that gave the Knights the lead at 49-48. UCF would close out strong, finishing the game on a 23-5 spurt and getting the victory. Final score at the Dungeon, 62-54. UCF gets the big home win over the Green Wave.
Again, I was proud of our guys that we maintained composure, you know, to finish and play the last 8 minutes the way we played. I think we had scored 1 out of 15 possessions, but we gutted it out defensively. We got some stops, turnovers, and then we came back and I think we scored 11 of our next 12 possessions with 1 turnover. So that was critical, and I do think that shows a little bit of a sign of maturity and competitiveness that we need to have.
Back on the road, women's basketball had another tough test against Memphis up in Tennessee. The Tigers picked up the victory in a tight one, despite Danae Daniels racking up a career-high 25 points on 9 of 14 from the field, along with 9 rebounds. Also, Marche White had 16 points and 4 assists off the bench for UCF. And finally, men's golf began its spring season at the Gator Invitational in Gainesville at Mark Basta Golf Course. The Knights finished in 8th place as a team. Nuno Enriquez was the top individual finisher, coming in 7th place with a 4 over par performance. All 5 of UCF's golfers finished in the top 50 of a highly competitive field in Gainesville. And of course, for more news, scores, and information from every UCF sport, log on to UCFathletics.com, your online home for UCF sports. Don't go away. Coming up next here on UCF Sports Night, they all took different paths to UCF, but for the 3 seniors on the men's tennis team, now is the time. We profile this tennis trio when UCF Sports Night returns. Knight fans, the 2010 baseball season is right around the corner. Season tickets are available now. More information at 407-UCF-1000 and at UCFathletics.com. Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. The men's tennis team here at UCF is looking forward to a big year in 2010, and they believe the stars have aligned, in particular 3 senior stars, Mark Rocafort, Johan Biegert, and Brock Sakey. They're looking forward to making their final year in the black and gold a memorable one. We get a closer look at the 3 seniors on the men's tennis team in our Sports Night Spotlight.
I'm from Gulf Breeze, Florida, which is up in the Panhandle next to Pensacola. And I actually met Coach Cashman at a summer camp over in Tampa, so we've been communicating, went through the recruiting process that way.
Well, I grew up in Växjö, Sweden, a small city in southern Sweden. Well, first of all, in school was the language. Like my first semester was really hard to adjust to the classes because it works differently here compared to how it is in Sweden. But I got used to it pretty quick, and I think when I started my second semester, the language was not a problem anymore.
I'm from Barcelona, Spain, and I'm actually a transfer student from Middle Tennessee. So I came to UCF when I was a junior. So like big transition for me. And I'm really enjoying the time here. The weather is great, people really nice. And since the time I come here, all the teammates help me out a lot, and had a great time.
Well, Brock, he's more like a leader of the team, so like when you're down a little bit, he's there to cheer you up. And Mark, he always has a good smile on his face and making jokes all the time. So that helps not only me, it helps everyone on the team.
All right, they're both real good guys. Mark just got here 2 years ago, but right away he clicked with everyone on the team. Real laid-back guy, funny. We always have a real good time together. And Johan, I've known him all 4 years now. He came in when I was a sophomore. And real good guy. At first he was a little quiet, getting used to everything. His English gave him a little bit of problems, but he's adjusted very well. And these are definitely guys that are going to be lifelong friends.
Yeah, time has passed so fast. I mean, it feels like I just got here, and all of a sudden it's my last semester playing tennis.
I mean, we're all from different cities in the world, different places, so we have like a really good connection. You know, you're from there, you just talking about different cultures and stuff just makes you get together and have a really good communication.
I've really enjoyed it. You know, I've learned a lot about myself, a lot about other cultures, because the tennis team's had people of so many different nationalities around, and been through a lot of experiences that have prepared me for the real world and the rest of my life ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean, all the 4 years like just went so fast, and it's a little sad, but I really enjoy my time here.
1, 2, 3, Knights!
Well, Mark, Johan, and Brock have 7 more home matches this spring. For more information on the UCF men's tennis team, visit UCFathletics.com. Coming up next, we sit down with head coach Joy Williams of the UCF women's basketball team to talk about her squad as they gain momentum heading down the stretch in Conference USA play. That and more when we return. Knight fans, the softball team is getting ready to hit the diamond in 2010. Season tickets are available now. More information at 407 UCF 1000 and at UCFathletics.com.
The new UCF College of Medicine will help Florida get all the doctors it needs. But until then, be extra careful. UCF stands for opportunity.
Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. The UCF women's basketball team is gaining some momentum as they head down the stretch in conference play. And joining me now to talk about it, their head coach, Joy Williams. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Jeff. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. Like we said, you know, this season, the whole plot of the season, I know hasn't gotten off to the way that you thought it would.
Right.
But the team looks to be gaining some momentum, especially the last couple games at home. What are you seeing that's a little bit different from maybe at the start of the year that's encouraging for you?
Well, like you said, you know, it was disappointing the first part of the season because of the success that we had last year. But I think that's one lesson that our team's learned, is that you can't rest on last year's laurels. So it's been good in these last few games that we've really started to do the little things. We've really started to defend a lot better. We've rebounded pretty consistently. So, you know, we put those things together the last few games, and it's turned out pretty well.
I know how much you love defense and rebounding, and one of the players who's really stepped up in both of those arenas, as well as on the offensive end, Danae Daniels in the post especially. You asked her to do a lot of things. How big has she been in stepping up for you the last few games?
Danae's been huge for us. I'm really, really proud of her. She's really come a long way, and we always knew as a coaching staff that she had the potential to be one of the best players in Conference USA, and she's really showing what she can do right now. She's playing with a lot of confidence, playing well on both ends of the floor, so we hope that she'll continue to keep that up the rest of the way.
You've gotten a lot of improvement from a bunch of players actually on your roster. Some of whom, you know, we didn't see too much of last year and even in the first part of this year. Who are some of the players who've really stepped up for you that may have been some pleasant surprises for you?
Well, I think, you know, we looked early in the season. You saw Marche White come off the bench and be pretty consistent offensively, and then we had her in the starting role. But regardless of whether she's starting or not, she's been pretty consistent for us offensively. And then Aisha Kelly, who has been one that I've been very, very proud of. Aisha you know, is a sophomore this year and really has come into her own, really is facing the basket and knocking down some big shots for us and also playing with some confidence. So it's exciting that she's doing well, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah, these last 2 games on the road, Memphis, UAB, and now you're in that part of the schedule where there's no secrets. You're playing everyone for a second time around as you head down the stretch in conference play. Tell me about the schedule coming up and what you have on tap.
Well, it's exciting. You know, these teams, both teams that we have coming up, Memphis and UAB, and you know, Houston Rice, we haven't played yet. We only played them once, but like some of the teams that we played twice, you look forward to it. You know, we lost a few of those games, so we like to go back and make some adjustments and see how we fared the second time around. But it's exciting because we really feel like we are in a better place than we have been the last few weeks, and so it's fun to kind of see where we'll end up.
Yeah, well, it looks like things are starting to play out almost exactly like they did last year. I know you guys can't wait to get to the conference tournament, and like we said, best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you right before the conference tournament.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, head coach Joy Williams from UCF Women's Basketball. For more information on the team, visit UCFathletics.com. Coming up next here on UCF Sports Night, we've got our plays of the week and a look at a busy week ahead in UCF athletics. We're back in just a moment. Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. We're going to get to our plays of the week in a moment, but first we've got a little men's soccer recruiting news in News and Notes. 2 members of UCF's athletic staff have been named to NCAA committees. Women's soccer head coach Amanda Cromwell has been selected to the NCAA Men's and Women's Soccer Committee. Cromwell was named the Southeast Region Coach of the Year in 2009 and led the Knights to the second round of the NCAA tournament for the 2nd consecutive year. Also, Jessica Rio, the Senior Associate Athletic Director for Student Services here at UCF, has been named to the NCAA's Rowing Committee. Also in men's soccer news, the Knights welcomed 5 new players for the 2010 season. Head coach Brian Cunningham brought in all the new players from within the state of Florida, and 3 of them are from the Central Florida area, including 2 from Montverde. The Knights also welcomed 1 player from Miami, another from Ponte Vedra, and 1 more from Lake Mary. The 5 new players join a squad that had no seniors and 5 juniors on the roster in 2009. Meanwhile, on the pitch, the Knights came up with a 1-1 draw against Toronto FC of Major League Soccer in a spring exhibition match out in Bradenton. Jeroen Bakker got the Knights' lone goal on a penalty kick, and Toronto needed a desperation goal in the final minute to get the tie. The Knights continue their spring exhibition season against another MLS squad, FC Dallas, on February 19th. That game will be held at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex down by Disney. Time now for our Sports Night plays of the week. Here's play number 3. Here's a look at play number 2.
Witherspoon, nobody boxed him out. 34-32, Memphis at the other end. Dave Diakai with authority drives it home. Big time dunk by Dave.
And finally, here's play number 1. And those are your Sports Night plays of the week. It's the busiest week of the year thus far. As we look at the week ahead, we start on Wednesday with softball. They face their rivals from Stetson in their home opener at the softball complex. First pitch is at 5:30 p.m. and you can see the action on UCFathletics.com. Thursday at the UCF Arena, women's basketball faces the Rice Owls. Tip is at 7, and you can see that live on UCFathletics.com. Friday, things get really busy. The only team on the road that day is men's tennis. They face FAU down in Boca Raton at 2 p.m. Softball hosts the UCF Invitational at home starting on Friday, with the Knights facing South Carolina at 3:30 and UNF at 8. Then on Saturday, the Knights have 2 more against good opponents, Villanova at 1:30 and Troy at 6. And the tournament finishes on Sunday with the Knights facing Florida A&M at 1 p.m. All 5 of UCF's games are live on UCFathletics.com. Friday also begins the 2010 baseball season. The Knights open at home with a 3-game set against Savannah State. First pitch for Game 1 on Friday night is at 6:30, followed by Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1. You can see the action for all 3 games at UCFathletics.com. Back to Saturday, more basketball at the Dungeon with the women's basketball team facing Houston. Tip-off is at 7, and that game is live on UCFathletics.com. Meanwhile, men's basketball is up in Hattiesburg to face Southern Miss. Tip for that game is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and again, it's live on UCFathletics.com. Also on Sunday, both tennis teams take to the courts. The men's team is on the road at Miami to face the Hurricanes at noon. And the women's team is at home at the tennis complex to face Memphis at noon. On the air on Mondays, make sure you tune in for the Kirksboro Radio Show. Join the Knights coach along with the voice of the Knights, Mark Daniels, live from Smoky Bones in Waterford Lakes at 7 p.m. You can hear the show live on the Knights flagship station, 740 The Game, and at UCFathletics.com. Also, tune in for UCF Sports Today with Kirksboro as Mark Daniels sits down with Coach to talk hoops, along with plenty of insight, analysis, and in-depth features. The show debuts Tuesdays on Sun Sports at 4 p.m. and airs all week on Bright House Sports Network and UCF TV. Check your local listings. And don't forget, you can catch UCF Sports Night debuting every Tuesday on UCF TV and also airing on Sun Sports and Bright House Sports Network. Check your local listings for details. And for all the latest news, scores, and features from every UCF sport, log on to UCFathletics.com, your 24/7 online home for UCF sports. And of course, if you want to catch this edition again or you want to see any of our archived editions of UCF Sports Night, you can anytime you want on the computer. All you've got to do is log on to UCF TV's website, which is at www.ucf.tv, or log on to UCFathletics.com. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week here on UCF Sports Night. We'll catch you again next week. For all of us here at UCF Athletics and UCF TV, I'm Jeff Sharon saying thanks for watching and go Knights!
Hey, this is LT from 101.1 WJRR. You're listening to the best sounds of area music. UCF Athletics, Access Magazine, and WJRR are proud to support local artists. You can find more great artists by going online at www.wjrr.com and also accessmag.com, and by listening to Native Noise each and every Sunday at 11 o'clock.
UCF Sports Night is brought to you by UCF TV.